The reason why I decided that I'm going to join the panel is because I really do believe that we can improve, and we have a lot of space to improve in. And we're pretty open as a community, right? Pretty open. We can take constructive criticism and learn from it, and inshallah we can really improve and get everybody to participate in our community and get more people.
So I'm like a pretty vocal complainer. I like to complain a lot. And so when I guess like there's an actual opportunity now to complain constructively instead of just complaining all the time. So like given the opportunity to give my complaint and know that my complaint will be heard and improved upon, that's it's a really good opportunity for me to get to actually make the community that I want to see instead of just talking about the community that I have.
I decided to be on the panel just because I've been coming to these community events for a long time, like when I was in grade 2 or 3, and it's I actually see where the adults are coming from with the lack of involvement and participation. And there's always so much speculation, the young people don't come because this, or the old people are this, and now it's actually let's cut the speculation, let's actually figure out why we don't come, or you know what I mean?
I came because there's a lot of people that I know Sudanese that do not come to events, and I'm always asking them why they don't come to events, and so I want to be able to express their concerns, because they don't want to come themselves and express their concerns.
I'm here because I've been invited.
First, it is really a great event, and we have to admit one very important thing here, that no matter how much we claim that our kids are Sudanese, that may not be the case. So we have to, first we have to admit that they were some of them born here or raised up here most of their lifetime, and we have to be very understanding, and we have to agree upon the pillars, the basics, so that we can come up with some, I don't want to say compromise, but something that will make it easy for them to fit. Because if they don't come, that means they are not appreciating what we are offering, or they don't see any aspect or any good reason for them to appreciate and accept. So we have to meet some way halfway. We have to meet, and we have to make it easy for them so that they can integrate and they can define and put, the boundaries where they can settle for both Canadian culture and Sudanese. That's why I'm here.
You want to let us know why we're here? Sorry.
My name is Roeda, and I'm here because I think it's a huge concern of ours to try to get the youth involved in these Sudanese events. It's important, and we'll try to get down to the bottom of it and try to, fix that problem.
Hey Ahmed, you're late. So I want to introduce our panelist, Ahmed Yusuf.
That's right.
Okay, so thanks for coming tonight. Wow, okay, what was the question?
Yeah, we're just starting, and we're just wanting to know why everybody agreed to participate first of all on this discussion.
I apologize for that. It's got stuck in traffic coming from Toronto. I think my interest in this, I think it's really important to have a kind of like a strong community I think there's a lot of benefits for that to you as an individual. And I think it's something that we can do better. So that's why I became interested when you mentioned it to me.
Thank you. How much can we just go through these slides?
So we have some points. We sent an email to the panelists here and we asked them of their opinion and what they want to talk about. And these are the points that we came up with that we're going to discuss. Bridging the gap, judgment and acceptance, organization and presentation, the benefits of getting involved, what do you want to see at the Sudanese events, and the page of how to find us. I think we were displaying that at the beginning on how to contact us through Facebook, on how to get involved through Facebook or our email address. Okay, so. So, bridging the gap, and I'm going to ask the youth here. What do you think the goal of these Sudanese gathering for you?
Why do we come?
I think, Razan, in your answer, you talked about distances and differences.
Okay, so my two topics were distance and difference. And then they'll also kind of branch off into goals, the goals of the community and what our goals are, the frequency and the age groups. So that's all going to tie into the two head topics, I guess, distance and difference. Should I start?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so the distance and the difference. I'm first going to start with the distance, okay? So the distance, in my opinion, so this is all, like, no offense to anyone else, this is all just my opinion. The distance is quite big, well, for me, because I do live all the way in southwest Mississauga, and everyone is scattered in their own place within Mississauga. And what I noticed is for the youth to get together, and some of us don't drive, some of us are busy or whatever it is, for us to get together outside of the community is really difficult. So if our families are not visiting each other, then we're not ever going to come together, really. So with it, talking about the distance still, the distance is also between the events that happen, right? So most of the time what we try to do as a Sudanese community, we try to involve all the age groups, like adults, teens, young adults, children, and infants too. And it's harder to, I feel like that's a very big group of people and age groups for you to try to put them all together and make everyone happy. Not everyone's going to be happy and excited to go to something that little kids are going to or adults are going to, so it's not going to cater to all the age groups. The difference. So the difference in interests and, so they kind of do tie together, and attractions. So what is attractive to us within the community may not be attractive to you guys, right, as adults. As young adults or teenagers, whatever we are, the youth, I feel like we are more driven to things that have an outcome, right? So like we're going to meet so we can, I don't know, discuss something or something that has some kind of function to it, rather than we're gonna go and we're just gonna sit around and talk while someone sits in the front and sings to us. You know, that's just not interesting personally to me, and I don't see anyone else interested. But as soon as it's something that has a function or has like a goal in the end, like coming together to go camping or go do something that's outside of a room and four walls, that's what's interesting to us. But I feel like it could be interesting to everyone. And I feel like we need to branch out to explore more. And you know, the Sudanese community is not just about a Fernando Vigi and he stands in the front, he sings, and everybody's, you know, dancing to that, doing two-step. And it's not just about this, like discussions like this, which these are good. I feel like this did attract me. I want to say what I have to say, and I want my voice to be heard, and I want everyone to have a chance to talk about what they're interested in and what they want to see in the near future.
Yeah, so on the topic of bridging the gap, things I have to talk about, I guess a lot of things Roseanne has brought up. So basically from my point of view, and it's probably a slightly weird point of view, there isn't like something like really special about sitting in a room full of Sudanese people, period, as an end of itself. You know, any more special than sitting in a room full of anyone else if I don't know those people. So if you put me in a room of Sudanese people but I've never met anyone, there's nothing special for me as someone that grew up in Canada and have been in rooms of people with people from all over the world. I don't find that particularly special. It's a good thing, but it's not something more special than any other thing. So coming from that, you need my reasoning for coming to events won't be just because, hey, there's going to be Sudanese people there, because it's not going to make me go. I don't go to like Chinese cultural events because there's Chinese people there, or Japanese cultural events because there's that's not a draw for me. So that's the place I'm coming from when I say a lot of these things. I think, like Roseanne said, there has to be a goal. I'll try to keep it short. I know there's like a 5-minute limit. I don't want to go too long, but talking about those goals that we brought up, just for the sake of like Sudaniness isn't a goal. I don't think. I think the community needs specific goals. And so I can present 2 goals for the Sudanese community that really make sense to me. One is helping new Sudanese people integrate and be comfortable in Canada because they're not comfortable. They just got here. They want people that are similar to them culturally, have similar interests. That makes sense to me. That's not who I am because I've grown up in Canada most of my life. I'm very comfortable as a Canadian. But it makes sense to me that people from Sudan that just got here, or people that have lived in Canada for a long time but are still very connected to Sudanese culture, or like talking, for example, just speaking Arabic. That's something that makes sense for me. People want to speak with other people that speak the same dialect of Arabic as them. That's perfectly fine, and that's a reason for the community to exist. What I think one of the problems is we assume that, okay, this is a good purpose for the community, everyone should come to these community events, right? We should make distinctions between the events that are applicable for everyone and events that are interest-based. So I think that's a great event, that's a great purpose, that's a great goal, but one that your kids, who are probably very Canadian if they've been here like their whole life, it's not a goal of theirs. So the other thing that does make sense for me is to celebrate Sudanese culture. And celebrating Sudanese culture means like playing Sudanese music, like putting up Sudanese art, or like making Sudanese food. But it doesn't mean let's have a bunch of Sudanese food available, let's have Sudanese music playing, and let's put like art on the walls, right? And then invite everyone to come. What it means is that if I want to expose myself to Sudanese music, and I'm not Sudanese, the event should cater to me as well. That's what I mean by celebrating Sudanese culture. For example, if I went to, again, if I went to an Italian cultural show, it should interest me in Italian culture, even as a Sudanese person. It exposes me to something new, something that I haven't seen before. It's a good thing, and that's something that we should do as a Sudanese community because we know Sudanese culture. A lot of us enjoy lots of things about Sudanese culture. We want to share that with the world. But those events really shouldn't be limited to Sudanese people. Ideally, we could have a Sudan Fest and charge for tickets and have people from all over the world, or all over the world, but living in Mississauga, wanting to come to the events because they want to see new cultural things. That makes sense. So I think those are the kinds of events that your kids want to go to, like from my perspective. The kinds of events that you're going to have lots of people interested in, as kids that are Canadian, and you have to start seeing your kids as Canadian, are going to be the events that are applicable for all Canadians, like in my opinion. So again, that brought up the topic of frequency. Basically, I think events should be as frequent as people want them to be. So if like there's a high demand for more events, there should be events. We shouldn't do a weekly event just for the sake of having an event. It basically spoils the value. Like, events should be special. And I think, again, I've said this before, there's a big generational differences between you and your kids. That's okay. Your kids are different than you. They like different things. That's fine. Just like, there are specific things that we can create better for everyone. But if you go to an event for music and your like 5-year-old kid is not going to appreciate that event, you don't need to bring your 5-year-old kid with you. I'll probably complain more about that later, but that's generally the idea. You should go to the event because you're interested in the topic, not for the sake of just going to it. Or you shouldn't drag your kids just for the sake of having your kids there, sorry.
Okay, thank you, Ahmed. Anyone else want to add to those points? And I'm sure we're going to talk about events, we're going to talk about, there's a lot of those topics actually, we have them at, we're going to talk about them in details more often or after. Do you guys want to comment to that, Salah or? No?
We're not alone. السلام عليكم. طبعا ما بعتهم قال السلام عليكم. طيب اوكي. اول شيء لو سمحتوا لي انا حادي فزلة تاريخية بسيطة. Well, I should speak in English.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I will try my best. For me, it is a second language, so I appreciate that. I have to give a very small, just historical background, very short, about MSCCA, or Mississauga Sudanese community. When this started, first of all, it has been started by very young people who came here as very young, and they are the people who started. It was not started by anyone. They brought us in. So, initiated by youth, very young actually, who came here. I can say the name if somebody wants to argue with me. All of them, they initiated, they made it, and they advertised for this first public meeting. And then when they're in the public meeting, they take 2 people from the old people. They said, we want to just to have the mix. And they took the lead. And this great thing came from them. I don't need it. I'm loud enough. Yeah. No. And they brought great things. One of the, and that went into the discussion, that we don't have such things as, if you want to use a term which is used in other communities, Sudanese communities, they use the word Yalia, which we resisted too much. We said we are an association, just an association, cultural association. Anybody can join by choice or stay out. And we don't, and when I say we, I mean the association, when we are making it, and that was written in the Constitution. We said we don't represent anybody just for the fact of being Sudanese in Mississauga. And we don't exclude anybody, even if he is not Sudanese, if you want to join. And we gave an example actually, said it could be Eritrean, and nowadays it could be somebody from South Sudan, which is going to be from a different country now. And his interest is the Sudanese culture. He can be a part of this. So it is an association, by membership, you get in, you decide. I see a lot of complaint about how it should be, or whatever, how function should be. It was open from day one for anybody to come and take leadership. And actually it was welcome. So anybody who feels that there is things which should be done and it's not being done, he should start by blaming himself or herself for staying out and not come in and make things happen. And actually this is too much of the Sudanese, the things which is a problem in Sudan, which people, they came with it. And unfortunately, the kids took it from their parents and they are living with it, which they want to be receiving. Somebody should do something for us. We don't join this because it lacks that. No. You make it have the things which you think they are good for the community and take the leadership. On the point which Ahmed mentioned about being Canadian versus being Sudanese, I find they are missing the point of being Canadian. Canada is not USA. Canada has an act called multiculturalism, and that we are very proud and are very happy to have Trudeau when he brought it in. And he gave the example that it is like, we don't want a melting pot, but we want something like the salad. It works together, but every party keeps its distinct flavor. It gives you more pride to join any group and bring something with you to the mix than coming in to assimilate with whatever it is there. We are, first of all, we are Africans, and always will be perceived as Africans. So when we come here, nobody will look us more than Africans.
Sorry, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to finish that point.
Huh?
Sorry, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to finish your point.
Okay.
We're trying to time each other because
Okay,
we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
okay. So to come in this mix, you are Canadian African. So you come with this one and you mix it. So it is a kind of, you come to integrate, you bring something with you to the mix. And as far as the parents are concerned, they are doing their best, but they kept it always open. This association, different than any other association in our neighborhood here in Canada, and I think even in the USA, in 2 occasions, whenever the youth came forward, we give them the whole leadership, and we have 2 of our presidents. They were in their early 20s or even maybe not 20s yet. They were the president of this association, and it was taken by them, and they had all the opportunity. And if last meeting, if young people were there and they present themselves to be in the leadership, I'm sure people would have welcomed it and would have taken the leadership and do the best of it. And they can teach us. I'm sure they are capable of teaching us. But they have to come forward and be the leaders.
I'm pretty sure after this meeting, people will get more involved more.
I don't know if what we're doing right now.
They'll get involved more, and maybe just next time, like I kind of do agree with the youth here a little bit. Like maybe it got started with the young people, but then when the adults took it over, all the programs were catered more to the adults, and I kind of agree with that with you guys. Dr. Nuh, I don't know, you want to comment or you want to move on? I'll give you 2 minutes exactly.
Yeah, I want to have a comment about what Ahmed said. He had 2 valid points actually. When they come and join, it shouldn't be just because of the association. Coming and joining any event, Sudanese event, just by association is not enough. So he has a valid point. Second, he mentioned a point that he doesn't want to be in a room that, because his father is a Sudanese and he was born in Sudan, I assume that he was born in Sudan, and because the room is full of Sudanese, he must come. I guess we should have, and here I want to put it in a context of soliciting to the youth, that long time ago we came through different means to this country. And it happened that we take it as the good country that we want to live in, and it's a great country actually. We want to live in and continue our life here. We know it as a matter of fact that if you ask me 25 years ago, I would say I'm going back. But now if you ask me, I'll say going back to where? I just belong to here. So if that's for me, what about my kids? I mentioned this point, and I started with that. I'm soliciting to the youth that for us, at least give us the benefit of doubt at the beginning. Although that's not the complete justification, that we have a legacy dated back to 7,000-year-old civilization. That's a civilization that dated back to 7,000-year-old. And it is very, like, definite. It is, if you try to put it as Salah said, it is like African, you will not give the whole picture. It is a mixture of so many things. And so many, like, important things that make living. It's not just culture. So we want to continue this legacy. And it's not just we want to continue the legacy for no reason. That as immigrants, because like more than 90% of the parents are immigrants. So we feel we are vulnerable, that we are not living in the environment that we were designed or we were like planned to be in. Things happen that put us out of that context. So I will not be comfortable, and I will not be feeling secure if I don't feel my son or my daughter is gonna continue this legacy for my own protection. It's not from weakness. It is just from.
Dr. Norhaj,
Yes.
sorry, but we need to move to the second point.
Yeah, okay, so give me 2 minutes.
I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Okay?
Okay, so I solicited to the youth to click in and get into this and carry on the flag so that to continue the legacy. And it is a very good legacy. Give it the benefit of doubt and try to invest in it and try to study it and try to take it with good faith. That's my solicitation.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
North. The next point, it was actually Ruwa Kashif who brought it up, but she's not here today. It's about judgment and acceptance. I'm going to leave it to the panel to present their thought. Ruwaida, what do you think of that?
And can we stick to the time?
Yeah, please. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to talk about it, and then we're gonna give the mic to another person to talk. Okay. Go ahead, Anna.
Like, we just don't.
I think it's like basically like the idea that the kids need to stay.
Okay, Ahmed, you have something to
You want me
say?
to read
Yeah,
the
just
point?
to introduce the topic, I think Royda definitely will have a lot of good points, but I think the idea here is that like Sudanese parents are afraid of their kids becoming Canadian. They're like, there's some idea that being Sudanese is better than being Canadian, whatever. They're like, if you ask a Sudanese parent, would you prefer your kids to have Canadian friends or Sudanese friends? If you, as a parent, think that maybe you want them to have Sudanese friends over Canadian friends, and that's kind of what this topic is about. But like, do you want your kids to marry a Sudanese person? Again, that kind of covers this topic. But there's like this idea of judgment if your kid embraces Canadian culture a bit too much, from their opinion. So I think that's the idea.
I do think it's important for the youth to kind of adopt Sudanese culture, but so yeah, I do think it's really important, and to kind of have these events to kind of introduce the youth to other Sudanese people is like to make Sudanese friends is important, but to also kind of get to know other cultures is also just as important. The events that we hold they don't cater to Sudanese youth, and like a lot of Sudanese people do go out of these events to kind of get to know other Sudanese people. Like we go out as like a Sudanese groups, and like we go out all the time outside of these Sudanese events when we can, or when our schedules kind of do work out, like allow that, yeah. But when we like coming to these Sudanese events, it's not like there's not many events where we're like, oh yeah, there's going to be so many Sudanese like people that are our age. There isn't a lot of we don't have that community just because of like school. Like a lot of people are out in other cities doing university elsewhere. Maybe the timing of events does doesn't allow that as, because like right now, like a lot of students are in, like the high school students are in the middle of exams, like the timing of this event doesn't allow for that age group to come out to these events. But I think if we were to kind of organize it with the schedules of like Sudanese youth, it might work out a little bit better. Kind of make it broader to allow more like Sudanese people from other cities to come out, because we don't have that age group around here much. So kind of it does become hard to like make friends with people our age, like Sudanese people our age, and we do spend more time with people that are not Sudanese. So I think that's probably the main reason why. So we haven't.
Well, I always hear this sentence, like, I don't want to come to Sudani events, so I don't want Amos and Khatus to judge me, right? Like, we hear this all the time from the youth. Sarah, do you have any comments?
Sorry, before I hop onto the judgment, just over the defense over the Sudanese culture, like Ahmed said, it's like our parents, I can probably tell you my mom feels the same way, that you have this fear that our kids are, if you're to say, Mama, like, which friends would you rather me have, like Canadian friends, whatever that means, or Sudanese friends, obviously they're gonna go Sudanese. But the thing that I kind of want to stress is we have to let go of that mindset, because it's just a byproduct. When we immigrated to this country, this is just the byproduct that happens. Like, we're gonna come across other people that aren't Sudanian. That doesn't mean that they're all bad, or that put a big X on them, Canadian khawajat, you know what I mean? Like, it's just something that we have to embrace. So when you start to force your child to, you have to go to these Sudani events because you have to hang out with other Sudani people, that's when they go, why? My Canadian friends are just fine. And I'm sure my Sudani friends are just fine. But why am I being forced to stick within this box of friendships and connections that only have to be Sudani when, like, I don't understand why it's more special than any other culture. You know what I mean? I think
It's working now? Again, Ahmed raised very good points. Two good points. I want to welcome them. The first one, like he raised a valid point that why we don't accept or encourage like friends out of the Sudanese community. We are not claiming we are perfect, but we can claim or we can like insist that if it happens that the Sudanese were comfortable. As I said, I don't want to emphasize that we don't feel secure or things like that, but we feel comfortable. So I would like to start it for saying we feel comfortable if the kid is associating with the Sudanese. It doesn't mean all Sudanese are good, or it doesn't mean Canadians are not good. There is so many great values, even for us as Sudanese. When we came here, I came in the middle 30s, and still I learned a lot of great things here. Owing to this society, I learned that here. And it's a great place. But I would like to be honest. I have 4 kids, 2 of them over 20. And I always talk to my other friends within the community that we have to exchange, our experience and our, thoughts and things like that. So, going back to his points, there is no problem with taking like a non-Sudanese friend, but you have to be aware of the point that if you come after 2 in the morning, then if you are not with the Sudanese, even if we pretend we are comfortable, we are hiding, we are not comfortable, especially with girls. So, like, let us talk like very candid here. So, if a group of Sudanese girls, for example, coming and saying, we are going to Jamaica, I don't have a problem. I can bless and I can even